think I'm back. So I'm going to give you all a minute to come back in. While at the same time, see if I can see my own chat. So you all let me know if you can see me, or if you can hear me, rather. That's the more important thing, right? Come on now. Loud and clear. All right, cool. So we had like 50 people on the last one. So got like 7 now. So we might need a second. That's what they do when they mess up your lives like that. You lose your audience and everything. You know, I guess that's what it's about, right? That's how you know you're doing something right. I got haters, y'all. But you know, it's all good, man. It's all good. But I guess I can. Let me take this down. Yeah, it's all good now. Okay, thank you, kind folks. Y'all always look out for me so well. I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you kindly. All right, so let me get back to what I was. Oh, and my Lord. Now I can actually. I'll be able to hear what I played. Let's see. Let's see if it was garbage and y'all were just being kind. That's all right. Ugh. What did I do with that bass at the end? Why didn't somebody say something? All right. What the heck was that? That Tourette's bass. Shitballs. That's what the bass just did. Oh, you like the bass now? All right, I'll take your opinion because I heard your stuff. Your stuff is good, but still, though, come on. Man, I guess it wasn't too bad. That's what it was supposed to do. All right. Duty Kaka. Dick Donuts. Bass had Tourette's. All right. So let's get back to what we were talking about. All right. Now that we can hear like we're supposed to hear. Um, yeah. So I was on the bass is nice. Oh, everybody like the bass. Yeah. This is a different phone. I have a lot of different. I got a lot of different accounts. So yeah, I always have a nice little selection of accounts I could jump between. You know, I'm a big advocate of redundancy. So you shut me down over here, I'm pop up over here. You shut me over here, I'm pop over here. You know, so yeah, that's why I still have a MySpace page. Just in case I need to jump back over to MySpace. You know, I'll be there by myself, me and Tom, but I got it. But anyway, um, okay, cool. All right, anyway, okay, so cool. So I'm gonna start from the beginning, but I'll go quicker with it this time. Doth not wisdom cry and understanding put forth her voice? I need some of that. It needs some But anyway, doth not wisdom cry and understanding put forth her voice? She standeth in the top of high places, by the way and the places of the paths. She crieth at the gates, at the entry of the city, and at the coming in at the doors. So you see, first off, like what you're getting is you're getting this image of wisdom as a feminine personification, or being personified as the feminine, and there's an invitation into the city by way of wisdom. Now, you know, wisdom, wise words being spoken, wise dome, the DOM and dome or wisdom represents dominion. So when we're dealing with wisdom, we're dealing with the dominion of the wise, or the place of the wise, or the place where wisdom rules, right? Because the dominion deals with where rulership is. So just like you have a kingdom, king is kin, family. So a kingdom is where the family rules. Wisdom will be where wisdom rules, right? But in this instance, we're getting wisdom associated with a noble or a feminine kind of matron or matriarchal energy, right? So it's that feminine touch that feminine touch of wisdom that brings um, individuals in, right? Individuals into the dominion or into the city, right? So she cried at the gates and at the entry of the city and in at the doors. Now, you know, doors is a important one there because um, whether we're going from the, you know, just any in Aramaic period, you know, we're going from the doors. But doors in this particular, sometimes we represent Dalid or D as a door, but here it's patah, patah. So you would, if you were spelling it in like the alphabet, you would probably spell it PTH. We'll say PTH, right? Um, so in that instance, now for those of you who do speak the Hebrew, it's pay, tav, and hek, pay ta hek. So it's more like patach, patach. Now, some of you are familiar with that term patach for those of you who study the Medu, right? And you know that with patah, so it represents that which is open, like the opening of the mouth ceremony of patah. So when she's crying at the gate or she's crying at the door, she's crying at the entry door of the city, it's the architect energy of patah or that builder energy of patah. Going back to the rock. Now, for some of you, that doesn't mean anything, but on today's Sabbat meeting, Brother Zach spoke about, you know, just kind of what we build our legacy on in terms of, are we building it on words, or are we building it on something solid, you know, and you know, like building it on action, you know, if you will. And one of the scriptures he brought up was John 14:2. Basically, where it talks about my father's house there are many mansions. If it were not, I would not have told you. If it were not so, I would not tell you. So mansions, of course, translates into dwelling places or abodes. And in particular, it speaks about a rock abode, right? So the idea of a rock abode is actually talking about your body, but it's talking about those who are so solid and who are so strong in truth that they become like an immovable rock. And that immovable rock is what the creator decides to live inside of. So when it says my father's house has many mansions, it's talking about my father's house has many people who are convicted and strong in the truth. And that's where he decides to live, those who are convicted and strong in the truth, right? So if you're not strong in the truth, you know, I mean, right? I don't have to tell you the bad news, you know. So anyway, she cried at the gates and at the entry of the city and at the coming in at the opening. Now it says doors, but when we understand that vibration of patah, coming in at the opening, right? So there's an idea there that you need to really understand is that um the door is open, right? You know, now what does that mean? Like um a lot of people are definitely peeping that the world the world went the hell in a handbasket. You know, a lot of people have kind of seen that at this point, like things ain't how they used to be. Mercy, mercy me. You know, so based upon that, what's the next move? You know, what's the next move? Right? You know, that's a well spoken line by every, I guess that's me now. Every old head uncle at the barbecue that just don't want to like go back inside. But when the young people, they getting ready to go to a party over here. What's the move? What's the next move? What we doing after this? You know. So this is that what's the next move season that is talking about. Like the gates are open, but is it open to everyone? Right? We're gonna get into that. Right. So she cried at the gates, at the entry of the city, at the coming in at the doors. Unto you, O men, I call, and my voice is the sons of man. All right, now that's a critical piece, right? That's a critical piece. Unto you, O men, I call, and my voice is the sons of man. Now, the reason why that's so critical, you've probably heard the term like son of man or sons of men, whatever. That's probably. Oh, yeah, we need to change that piano line a little bit. But anyway, so half my keys are broken on this thing. Hear that? Broken keys. Broken key. I want to record a new piano line. I'm tired of hearing that old one. Then we're gonna get back to it. I know you like, why don't you just keep teaching? Because I don't feel like it. I don't feel like it. I'm gonna record a new piano line. Here we go. I like that. All right, cool. All right, now, so now let's get to the next part. I'm gonna play my way right through it. So yeah, man. So I know you like that bass line, nephew, but I think I'm gonna have to change it. But I'll come back to that later. By the time we get to the end of this chapter, we probably gonna have a whole different thing we're grooving with. But this is how I write my books sometimes. I just be making music and writing it. I don't know. It does. I need to be doing more than one thing at the same time, or I'll get up and walk away. But anyway, so voices to the sons of men, right? Now I know what you're thinking. That's an easy one. Sons of men. Okay, yeah, right. So sons of men, and if we want to get deep, we could say mem, alf, noon, man, son of man. All right, cool. That's not what it's talking about in that verse. When you translate that word men back into the Hebrew, you get the word dim. Like them niggas over there. Dim, right? So dim is essentially dalet. For those, I'm gonna give you the Hebrew, I'm gonna give you both. Because within our new, we're dealing with the Hebrew more. So I want to give you both. You know what I mean? Don't trust them niggas over there. Them. So it's Daled and Mem Sofit. Daled and Mem Sofit. Okay. I'm gonna knock this camera over. I was just texted, told to move the camera. I'm gonna end up knocking it over. Oh, I should have put it in the camera holder. Next time. All right. You just tell me if I need to lift it up some more. If it's still bad. So what was I saying? Dim. So dim means blood. So when she says, I call unto you, still lifted an inch higher. It was cool before, we good now. Alright. Maybe I can put it on top of something. I'm trying to lean in so you can actually see me. I should have just. I have a stand. Actually, the stand from y'all donations. That this it's good now. Oh, it's good now that I lifted it, or was good now before? You're gonna have to help me out with it anyway. So yeah, the stand that I told y'all I got from them super chats, that actually holds a phone. And yeah, you was about to ask. Yeah, it's right. It's right. That's the one I just had the iPad on, but I took it off. That holds a phone too, but I don't feel like doing all that moving around right now. It's bad enough that baseline is distracting me. All right, so dim in the Hebrew is blood in this particular passage. So the idea here is that she's crying out to the sons of blood, right? So a lot of times, especially at times like this, like when we're going through the certain stressors, and I've been noticing that a lot. And I mean, it's understandable for like some of the young people who are in school right now, and I'm talking about college and but elective school where they could just leave. A lot of them have been like, man, I don't even want to do this anymore. This doesn't even make sense why I'm even here. And yeah, sure, it's a scam. You gotta learn how to work this scam, right? So you're not getting too scammed, right? But the thing is like a lot of them are recognizing and realizing in this time that, there's something bigger and greater happening with me that other people are not picking up on. And it's like there's this ominous feeling that a lot of people have right now that they know that something is coming, and the things that other people are celebrating are not actually worth celebrating. Whether it be new elected officials, or medical breakthroughs, even if those breakthroughs now will profit pharmaceuticals next year, in 1 year alone, $32 billion. But, new cure breakthroughs and stuff like that. But there's people who are recognizing like that still ain't it. I hear you, but that ain't it. That's not what's going to get this thing right, And because sometimes when we think about wisdom, or we think about salvation, or opportunities for us to be hoisted up from a deluge, we think about that it's for everybody. And sometimes we don't realize is that, like I always say, our new is a bloodline. So not everybody is gonna hear that call. You know what I mean? Not everyone has the ears to hear it or to recognize what it is. Because it's a hereditary kind of gift. It's an inherited gift, right? So in that instance, um, when she's calling out to the sons of men, she's calling out to the sons of blood. And just like in your Medu, when you're using the symbology of blood, it's wavy lines. Now, that's the symbol for Mem, or Mem is also, or Min is actually water, right, in Hebrew. Damn, I missed it. What'd you miss? Did you miss something? Or maybe you just got back, I guess. But yeah, we weren't away too long. I just changed devices and stuff. Changed the piano. But I'll change that bass line. Woo, woo. I mean, it's cool, but I'm ready for something else. So anyway, so that idea of men. So in this particular piece, when wisdom is calling out to the sons of blood, though she calls them the sons of men, she didn't call them the sons of men. Let me correct that. It was translated into that. But it was originally, wisdom said, I'm calling the sons of blood. And in particular, the symbol that would have been used was the symbol for water. So they are associating blood and water as the same thing. Now, the reason being is because in this particular form where you're talking about moving or flowing into a city where wisdom rules, they're invoking the flowing nature, the moving nature of water. We call that Oya in Orisha studies. Oya is movement of water, or air inside of water. So when we call her, Oberine Afefe, or Afefe Oberine, woman of water, woman of wind, people think it's the wind in the sky. It's not. It's the wind in the water. She's a water archetype. So it's that that kind of movement that's being called forth, right? So that's one piece. So just pay attention to that part. It's not for everybody. Like I always tell you, like everything ain't for everybody. Everybody ain't gonna get this. So the idea there is like the flowing of the blood, right? It's kind of the idea of the thing that's moving through the body, but also the wisdom that's keeping us alive. You see, that's what you're being called to now. Because every situation that we're looking at right now, it's like it's they're mortal situations. It's not just like, oh, the stock market's gonna crash, I'm gonna lose my money, but I'll have my life. Like we're looking at situations where it's like if you don't make intelligent movements, you're going to die. Like it's mortal. It's a mortal reality right now. So now wisdom is calling, right? So then she says, "O ye simple, understand wisdom." Right? So I'm getting alerts. O ye simple, understand wisdom. O ye fools, be ye of an understanding heart. All right. Now, in the Hebrew, heart is leb. Leb. Some people say leb, but I think it's just because they don't understand that there's supposed to be an accent mark there. But it's leb. Um, or you could say leb. I mean, if I'm not gonna say that, I'll just say it's leb or leb. It's because it's the same leb. It's the same letter. Excuse me. Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate that. It's the same letter. So it's lamed, bet or vet, right? Lamed bet. So it's the idea of the heart, which we also call the ab. The ab, abba, 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 abba. That's where it gets its name because of the sound that it makes, right? And then you have the ba, abba, ba, abba. So the heart and the soul are always interconnected with as two because of the sound that they make. Ab, ba. When you have a beating heart, it's up, up, up. When the soul releases, it's ba. Last breath, right? So the idea there is that there's an internal authority. So when she says, ye fools, be of an understanding heart, what she's saying is that you might be dumb on the outside, but there's an intelligent authority inside of you that can connect to what it is that I'm saying, right? Um, Sometimes that's important because we don't really see the consciousness or our consciousness coming from like a deeply internal, like there's a seat of it inside. And for the fool, much of their intelligence is seated in their passion, right? So when you refer to the leb or the heart, you're not always referring to the same organ. When you're dealing with it esoterically, when you're dealing with a foolish person, typically when you say the heart, you're actually talking about the liver, because the liver is considered to be the seat of passion. You see, whereas the heart, as many of us know, is the seat of intelligence. You see, so it's like even if you are unstudied, uneducated, tap into that authority that tells you what's happening, right? So that's a good example, like of even what you're getting right now. Like you hear me go from Mauritia, from Latin. I'm using Greek words. I'm speaking Hebrew, right? I'm reading out of the King James Bible, and some might say, "Oh, he's all over the place." That's crazy. Like, is he a Babalawo or not? But those who have that authority that connects with the frequency of what I'm sharing are like, no, something in me is telling me that this is right. Well, that thing that's telling you that this is right is the authority or the author of the heart. Okay, so that's what she's saying. Like, if she said, like, oh, ye simple, understand wisdom, right? Because if you're simple, you can understand what wisdom by applying it. But if you're, and notice there's like a contrast between being simple and between being foolish, because foolishness is vanity. Whenever you see like the fool or ideas of being a fool, a lot of time in esoterics, unless you're talking about tarot, you know, a lot of times it's talking about people who do things out of vanity, which is like, it's one of the worst things you could do, and it's one of the most horrible things you could ever call somebody is a fool, because you're basically saying that what they do is worth nothing. That's the idea of a fool, right? So anyway, so she, wisdom, says, "O ye simple, understand wisdom. O ye fools, be of of a, of an understanding heart." Um, and the fool, you know, like I remember, I have an old head that used to tell me all the time, like, you got more heart than brains, right? Because I used to get myself into situations or thrust myself into situations, and I had a sense of like bravery, but it might have been like a lose-lose kind of situation, you know. So in that sense, also when you're referring to the fool, I spoke about the fool's heart or foolish heart, but the fool itself is driven from the loins. So that's where the fool gets its vigor and its strength from. It's from the actual loins, right? So, and there's a lot of science to that. But let's just say when it's talking about those who we'll say maybe are overconfident. They're foolish in certain things. But there may be a level of overconfidence there. In the Hebrew, that's the word kessel. But anyway, so let me go to the next one. So here for peace, code 33, code 45. Herefore I will speak of excellent things, and the opening of my lips shall be right things. Here, so I shall speak of excellent things. Peace, Fashe, and the opening of my lips shall be right things. That's an important piece. Um, that idea of the opening of the lips is dealing with the idea of a bowl. It's a thing where everything is gathered at. So when it says, when she's talking about the opening of my lips, and that word is sp. A lot of people know in the Hebrew the lips, or the mouth is called peh, peh. But for this in our ancient Hebrew is spa, which is honestly it's almost like the same thing. It's just the spelling is a little different, but it's kind of like it's the sound that the lips make, right? But spe, it's kind of the same thing. But again, thank you, Cole. Appreciate it. Thank you. So again, it's that idea there where she's saying, for I will speak of excellent things, and the opening of my lips shall be right things. So there's a bi-directional thing there where it's like I'm only opening up my mouth to receive right things. I'm only opening up my mouth to give right things, because again, remember, the lips in this are being made synonymous with a bowl. So what are you putting in your calabash? What are you putting in your bowl? Are you putting right things in your calabash? Are you putting right things in your bowl? Right? Or is it just full of toxins? Because now is the season where we are really seeking to speak our way out of the rot. Things are rotting around us, and like we haven't even scratched the surface, right? There are people, I'm hearing people like, yeah, I think the worst is behind us. I'm like, man, it hasn't even started. Don't you realize everything that's happened up until now has been a test? And these have been artificial tests. A lot of them. A lot of this isn't even, nature or the divine. This is other people seeing, like, when that happens, how are they going to react? How are they going to respond? Will we be safe? Will they realize how much of this is because of us? Like I was sharing with our new fam earlier today in Sabbat, that I want some new chords. After I say this part, I'm gonna change some chords. Um, so I was sharing with them that, that basically, I don't want to tell the whole story, but I helped somebody out, right? Someone I had never met before. And it was led to me to tell them that, the people who are brutalizing your people, they're gonna look up at the sky one day and see it peel back, like you peeling the skin off of an orange, and the face that looks down on those people is gonna look just like the people that they've been oppressing. And there are some folks who are aware of this, and they're trying to make some moves around that quick, fast, and in a hurry. So basically, you don't have to run anywhere. There will be other people who will be looking for a place to hide. You know, like when it talks about they'll call out to the rocks and ask the rocks to fall on them. Like anything will be better. Like, oh my God, you know, like, and that's what the phrase will be. Oh my God, my God. They look. Please hide me. So it's a time now when you will really be sensitive about what comes out of your mouth, like, because that's where the freedom is. When you are allowing spirit to flow through you in that way, that's the only time you really experience true freedom, right? So that's what I was sharing. Let's see if I can reach in here. All right, hold on. What can I? Oh, oh no, I can't do that. All right, anyway, I'll come back to that later. My battery's dying. Give me a second. I'm just plugging up. Hopefully that did it. If not, it'll just cut off. So anyway, so let me get through this. So yeah, man. So 8:7. For my mouth shall speak truth, and wickedness is an abomination to my lips. My mouth shall speak truth, and wickedness is an abomination to my lips, man. I have to say, we have to get to a point, man, where we can allow ourselves to be more convicted by what we choose to say. We can allow ourselves to kind of humble up to that. You know, Sometimes we have a bad habit, man, of whispering things underneath our breath, or like things that are self-defeating. A lot of times, like when I'm working with people, I always have to remind them, like, people sometimes have a tendency of using the phrase "I don't know" after they say something. What's going on with you? And I might be working with them. Oh, I've been going through this and going through that, but maybe I just need to, meditate more. I don't know. You do know. You just said it, right? A lot of times that can be the abomination, right? For my mouth shall speak truth. Truth is what? The actualized energy of a thing. So for your truth is a mathematical language. Truth is not subjective. It's not based upon the collective facts that people have gathered, because those are usually not really worth that much anyway. I was having a conversation with someone about that the other day, and he was speaking to me about how terrible the president, the current leader in chief is, right? And I said, yeah, but he was elected. People wanted him. I said it's not like he was self-appointed. So there's a social contract that on some levels he has agreed to, and people who agree to that same social contract are the people who put him into place. And he couldn't accept that because of what the collective opinion is about this person. You know, um, but for me, I'm gonna speak truth, whether you like it or not, right? Now you remember, this is wisdom speaking. This is wisdom speaking, and wisdom, the female speaking. Sometimes people can't take a woman speaking truth. For my mouth shall speak truth, and wickedness is an abomination to my lips. So, an abomination to my lips, I already told you what the lips are. They're the bowl. They're what you carry your fruit in, what you've produced, what you've harvested. So, wickedness is an abomination to what you have harvested. What are some of the things that you've harvested? Well, we know that your destiny is a product of your thoughts, and your fate is a product of your words, of your speech. So, part of your harvesting is your fate. You see? So if you speak abominations, or if you speak wickedness, what is wickedness? Anything that goes against nature is wickedness. It's not the same thing as evil. Evil and wicked are not synonymous with one another. If I go against the natural order of things, I now have committed a wicked act. And if I speak wickedness, if I speak against the natural order of things, then now in my produce of what I produce or what I give forth will now be an abomination. You see? Make sure it's charging. Um, all the words of my mouth are in righteousness, and there is nothing froward or perverse in them. Okay? Now, for those of you who may not be familiar with the term froward, I didn't say forward. It sounds like forward. Froward. Froward. I know some of you are like, I know that word. I read books. Well, everybody's at a different level. So, froward actually means to be like contorted, to be distorted, or to be twisted. Okay, so that's the idea there. So, all the words of my mouth are in righteousness. There is nothing froward or perverse in them. Now, that's important when you think about the double speech. Oh, give thanks, Alex. Appreciate it. My first observation of Shabbat fasting and Hanukkah. That's dope. Yeah, that's a good example, right? Look what I just said. In my excitement, that's dope. That's kind of like a perverse term. I shouldn't have said that. That's good. That's great, right? Because there's a perversity to that, even, dope. But yeah, y'all pray for me. Now I'll work on it. There's things I gotta get out of my bowl. But yeah, that's good. Either way, man. Thumbs up. Thumbs up, Alex. But yeah, man. So all the words of my mouth are in righteousness, and there is nothing forward or perverse in them. Imagine being able to speak things that are natural and untwisted, uncontorted, and untainted by the social contracts that have been forced on you based upon the tenacity of your environment. Imagine if the tenacity of the authority of your heart was stronger, and as a result, what's in the heart, the abundance of the heart comes out in what you speak. You see, um, they are all plain to him that understandeth, and right to them that find knowledge. That's another important one. They are all plain to him, right? They are all plain to him that understandeth. Now, plain in this um, in this context, right? We're talking about the word nakah or nakat, and it basically means straight. It means straight. So when we're saying something is plain in this context, we're saying that it's the straight, obvious choice, right? I want my lighter. My lighter was right there, right? So I reached straight to go get it. It's obvious. So the words of wisdom for someone who is who understands is a straight line. You see, but to those that it says and right to them that are seeking knowledge. Now, the idea right in this idea actually deals with pressure. Okay, so when you look at it, when you go to the Hebrew, you look at it in picture form. It's actually the picture of teeth. But the idea there of right, it goes back to siddur, what I was talking to you about earlier, biting down. Um, it goes to the idea of, again, like I said, and right to them that find knowledge. So it's saying binding,
bite. So to those who are looking for knowledge, or those who just found knowledge, they're gonna bite down on it. It's like, oh, I just found out. That's the idea, right? Whereas the person who understands it, they understand because they've gone through the process. They've allowed themselves to go through the experience. They've allowed themselves to go through the pain and through the contortion of the knots that are in their life. You see, and that's the only way you're going to gain understanding. You can't pray for understanding and then just have understanding. Even when someone's talking to you and you say, I understand, you don't understand from someone speaking to you. You can bite down on what someone gives to you. Say, all right, I got it. You can apprehend it. I'm going to take hold of it. I'm going to apprehend it. But I won't understand it, or I won't see it as the obvious choice until I live it. You see, until I'm living it, I'm still seeing too many options in life. I'm still seeing too many loopholes to do the wrong thing. When the right thing is presented to me, I say, well, you know what? Yeah, I hear you, but I hear what you're saying, but I know that's true, but, and what is but? But is to fall down into your lower nature, past your butt, past your root chakra. Anything that has but in it goes beneath the middle line of the upper and lower now. That's your belt, your waistline. I know knowledge, but fall. I feel you, but you see, I know I'm better than that, solar plexus, but you see. So it's that idea there that when you have understanding, when you've decided and you've elected to go through the process of gaining real wisdom, then that which is right, that which is righteous, becomes a straight line to you. You're not wasting time in life with detours that make no sense. You see? So let's go to the next piece. Receive my instruction and not silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. You see? Now remember, again, this is wisdom speaking. Now, when you look at that, receive my instruction. So the idea of instruction there is the Hebrew word sir, which is samek and resh, sir. And that means rule, to rule. So receive my rule, right? Now, where the rules have jurisdiction inside of a dominion. So if wisdom is saying receive my rule, what is wisdom's dominion? Wisdom. Wisdom. So come into wisdom, and when you come into wisdom, there's a new set of rules that apply. You see? So receive my instruction and not silver. Another very important one. Receive my instruction and not silver. Now, it's important that you understand that, yes, silver, what they're speaking about here, they're speaking about money, because universally silver is money, right? But when you break down the words here, silver is actually desire. It's that feminine energy of desire. So it's saying receive my rule and not your desires. That's the silver. And then when it says and not choice gold, what it's speaking about in gold is speaking about that which is sure, that which is firm, that which you can hedge, which you can hedge money against. That which is able to defeat inflation. So it's saying receive these things that I'm giving you should come before what you desire. They should come before what you consider to be your insurance policies in life, because this wisdom will carry you through. It will supersede and rule over all of that. Okay, so that's another important piece that you know do what you want with it. Let me go to the next one. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all things that may be desired, not to be compared to it. Right? So again, we have a better idea of of excuse me, what wisdom is. Um, and then the idea there of wisdom being better than rubies. What we're speaking about is the rarity of something. It's better than something that you would consider to be extremely rare. You know, because again, your own experience becomes your own experience. It's such a deep thing a lot of times with wisdom, man, because sometimes people think that they have a wisdom of themselves that they really don't have, right? I work with people so often, and they say things like, they're going through something, and I'm explaining to them from my wisdom. Well, listen, this is what this is. This is what that is. And one of the things they'll say, well, no, that's not what I would do, or that's not how I'm feeling about it. And they'll say things like, well, I know me. I know me. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't know you. Nobody fully knows themselves. If that was the case, you would do surgery on yourself. If you knew yourself, right? So the idea of accepting and going through wisdom is the idea of finding not only yourself but portions of yourself, but being able to appreciate wisdom when it's calling at the opening of the city. Come on, come in. This is more important than everything you're doing right now. Okay, things are crashing. Bitcoin isn't doing that great. Stocks are kind of slow right now. Yeah, we have these really low interest rates for homes. That's if people have jobs to pay for the mortgages after they buy them. People using their COVID money for down payments on houses. All of these things may seem like the best route and the best thing to do right now, but wisdom supersedes them. So that's what's being said there, man. What you're going to invest your kind of, I guess, your insurance or your security in, right? I wisdom. Now, in this instance, um, we get a sense that now there's a first person speaking here now in Proverbs. I wisdom dwell with prudence and find out knowledge of witty inventions. You know, um, that's that Wu Tang. Witty, unpredictable, talented and natural game. But that idea of I wisdom dwell with prudence is really important. Again, the idea of we could even say dwelling. You know, it kind of represents to rest. So I rest with prudence. So not just that I live with prudence or I kind of go hand in hand with prudence, but I find my rest and I guess you could say that subtle art of being crafty, right? So there's an idea here of wisdom, where you learn. A lot of us may have this experience in the context here where we're around people or we've witnessed situations where people have learned how to make a lot out of a little. you know I know I've always noted on that, man, coming up and seeing certain young ladies who were in situations with children and stuff like that, and you know didn't have any more. Well, back then, $250, $300 was strong coming in on their paycheck, and the children were always kept clean. The hair was cut, going back and forth to school. Sometimes they find crafty ways to do things. And sometimes they find illicit ways to do things too. But nonetheless, that there are people who learn how to use wisdom and the subtle arts of wisdom to make a lot out of a little. And I can tell you that's a very attractive trait in a woman. I've met women like that in my life. Not many, but just a few, who knew all the hookups. They just knew all. It was just amazing. You give them a little bit, and they come back with cardboard boxes of a lot. That's again. All right, we dropped out for a second, but I guess we returned. And let me make things a little better for a second here. All right, cool. Maybe that'll be. All right, cool. So The fear of the Lord. And again, whenever you read like the word Lord in any type of scripture, just look it up. That's not the word. That's not even a good word to be using. And in Proverbs and Psalms, they took out of the demiurges and just replaced them all with the word Lord. There were other words there before, right? So when you do the translation on that, you get Yahuwah, not Lord. And in that particular form, Yahuwah represents the one who exists, or the one who is eternally. Is my thing crashing again? My screen is frozen, so I don't know if I'm still here with y'all. I'll keep talking, and then we'll see. I know this happens after a certain amount of time, so I don't know if